Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on how to stop being scapegoated by narcissistic or psychopathic individuals. Narcissistic and as well as psychopathic individuals have a tendency to have a superior sense of self, where they feel better than, superior to, and above really other people in their family, their work environment, and really life as a whole. They have perhaps a sense of entitlement where they were born because of a certain personality trait or the way that they perhaps were treated in their family of origin. And this together, coupled with a lack of empathy, which means they really are devoid or have a deficit of being able to understand the feelings, needs, wishes, and desires of another. It creates a very palpable sort of tension around these people, especially if they are targeting you or scapegoating you, trying to drum up a lot of unmerited false accusations about you. And I think that's one of the most confusing things about the scapegoating phenomenon that the narcissist or a psychopath will engage in, and that oftentimes is that of unmerited blame. They are very much in the tradition of putting all their negativity onto one person and having them carry this shame. And until the person really declares, no more, I'm done with this, I'm no longer carrying this very intangible experience, which is a toxic energy, a toxic sense of self, a toxic identity, a shame-based identity, which this person would hitherto have you live according to their role that they have for you as a scapegoat. Really, you step out of this role when you say no more, when you say I'm no longer playing this act or this role for you in your life. I'm stepping out. I'm signing off. I'm no longer becoming or being this person. I'm declaring my boundaries. I am saying no. I am done with this. No more am I accepting of this, and I'm not giving you permission anymore to treat me this way. In fact, if this does continue, I'm creating an ultimatum, and I'm holding us accountable and responsible for this ultimatum. And as you realize, as you make this declaration, this of boundaries, and say, I'm done with this. I'm done with your ingratitude. I'm done with your disrespect. I'm done with being the receiving end of your toxic hostility. I'm done with it. I'm 100% done, not 50% done, 80% done, 75% done. I'm 100% done. Until you can declare that, when you know that you know that you know, and you have that confidence in that knowing that you do not deserve to have unmerited hostility projected your way from the transgressions of a psychopathic, borderline, or narcissistic individual, realizing that you, in essence, are quitting that job. You are quitting that role. You are leaving, Elvis is leaving the building. I'm no longer acting that role for you. I'm no longer carrying this toxicity. I've already paid enough of it through the energy and attention and hardship that I have suffered and endured, and I'm now releasing it and letting it go. And realizing that this is a perpetual cycle, which a narcissist or a psychopathic borderline individual will engage in, and essentially they're going to have to find another target to target. They're going to have to find another carrier for their shame. They're going to have to find another place to project their shame. They're going to have a catharsis elsewhere other than having you in line of fire for their toxic hostility and projection. I find it very important that you declare, have that declaration and that very, very clean cut boundary from really where this person is treating you to now who you are, and declaring who you are, that you are a whole, complete integrity person that is separate from this sort of shame-based personality that this person would have crafted you into. So if you can realize that they are trying to paint you into a corner, cast you into a role hitherto which is not appropriate for you, it does not serve you to be constantly scapegoated, you basically renounce the role. And if you can renounce the role and say, I'm done carrying this shame, and I now know that I cannot change you, I cannot change the way that you are, I can't change the way that you relate to me. All I can do is take responsibility and accountability for my life, and I am living my emotions based on my own merit and not your false accusation or your unmerited ways of which you are treating me. And if you can declare that and live it and own it, if you can own those feelings, you are on the road to empowerment. It's very difficult to make this declaration, especially if you've played this role for quite some time. I liken it to the role that you've had at an employer. If you have been an engineer, it's very difficult to go and be an HR person. If you've been an HR person, it's very difficult to go and become a CEO. You have been cast into a role in the light of this person's eyes. So you need to renounce it and say, I'm no longer serving this role to you in your life. I refuse. So if that means not getting together, not communicating, not engaging in their toxic cycles and their charades, it means not getting together with them. It means going no contact. It means having a declaration. You can write them a goodbye letter. You can write them this is how I feel. Do it without shaming them, without blaming them. Do it with complete ownership of your feelings. I'm sorry. I cannot get together. I'm sorry I cannot be there. I'm sorry I can't. I'm sorry to be a disappointment to you, but I cannot take this treatment any longer. And really kind of turn it around so that you're owning your own empowerment, and you're furthermore letting them go with their cycle. And you can allow them to be who they are, allow them to have the perceptions that they are. It's a free world, it's free speech, you're open to your opinion, but it's not a free world if someone is entrapping you through blame, shaming, fear, obligation, and guilt. They're entrapping you into this role, basically stepping on you like a doormat and using you for a dirty rag to wipe off their toxic emotions on. And if you say, I'm no longer, that role, I'm signing off now, I apologize, but that role does not suit me. That is, you don't see the real me. You can write them a very short letter. You can tell them, no, I'm no longer, over obligating myself. I'm no longer serving that role. And you just release it and let it go. Sometimes you really do have to write people a letter of sorts. And think about it before you do it. And make sure you have gratitude in your heart for how they've been in your life. If you find the gratitude for what they've provided you, perhaps the lessons in life, perhaps the roof over your head, perhaps the food on your table, perhaps a connection when you needed it. But you need to release them and let them go, because otherwise they are going to perpetuate the cycle. And as we discuss here in the channel, it becomes more inflexible with time. It becomes more rigid with time. Their insinuating hostility becomes more heated. It becomes more aggravated. It becomes more pronounced with time. So realize that they're not going to soften up with age. They're not going to become an open heart within their next birth year. They're not receptive to changing because of the very nature. They are the way that they are. A narcissist and a psychopath does not see the error of their ways. Just like if you were to burn yourself on an oven, your hand would flinch back. Ooh, I'm not doing that again. You can learn. You remember what you did. I got a scar there. The narcissist is not able to self-correct themselves. They're not able to see the error of their ways. They're not able to see that they have done anything wrong. In fact, that's where the whole scapegoating comes in, is they feel that this person is basically here, it's fodder for me, it is supply for me. This is the person that I can put down, push around, and it gives me this sense of superiority. Why they do this? It is their personality. Who do they do this to? Whomever they target. Are they going to continue with this? Yes, they are. Why are they doing it to you? Because you were there. Why are they still doing it? Because you're still there. So you need to realize that, if you can let them go in all their shortcomings, in all their erroneous ways, realize you can't change them, you can't engage them, you can't talk about it with them, you can't, come to terms and meet in the middle. There is no closure with these people. Closure exists within yourself. So you have to be responsible and accountable to yourself for having a closure within yourself and realizing that I'm sorry that I had engaged with this sort of toxic individual for the amount of time that I did. I hitherto thought that it was a deficit in me. I forgive myself for ever feeling less than. I now, acknowledge and embrace myself for all the love that I had extended to them in hopes for things to be different. But I know things can't be different. A blind person is a blind person. A deaf person is a deaf person. A person with a disability has a disability. I have to realize that this is the human that they are. I cannot change it. I don't have the ability to change people. People have to change themselves, and people change when they're ready to change, when they feel a need to change, a purpose to change, and see the results and the positive aspect of changing. And so you become, self-contained. You now rely on yourself for your happiness, for mirroring back of self-love, self-gratitude, and really starting to own and mirror back those positive feelings and surrounding yourself with people who can also mirror back your strengths to you, so you get a more of a strength-based environment. If your family is not a strength-based environment, if it's a weak-based environment where there's a lot of shaming, guilting, you're not good enough, backstabbing, talking about people behind their back, gossiping, realize that that is a weak-based system. It's a weakness-based system, so it's very dysfunctional. And, realizing that that's where they're at in their life, and I don't agree to it. I, now choose not to participate in it, and I now choose to participate in my sense and my strengths, and surround myself with others who will reflect back to me the person that I am and the strengths that I have. And that is what I'm keeping in my focus. So once you release that and let it go and say, I'm releasing that role in my life. I'm no longer acting in that role for this person. I refuse. I absolutely, positively refuse. The time has come. I'm drawing the line. I'm making a commitment to myself. I'm not curious about becoming independent of this shame-based person. I'm not somewhat interested. I am committed. And if you can speak that commitment into your life and know that enough is enough. I've had enough. I've seen enough. I've exposed them for the way that they are. I know in my heart what I need to do, and I'm taking ownership of what I need to do. You then release them and say, hitherto, now I'm redirecting my life for a future where I'm empowered. I now live empowered. I now live in gratitude. I now live in humility and the humbleness to take accountability for myself and enjoy all the wonderful, finer aspects of life that I know that is the entirety and wholeness of life. And I'm entering into that with myself as a whole and integrity human being. And I disavow any sort of shame-based, lower than energetic interaction with this person. I refuse to talk about them. I refuse to engage with them. I refuse to complain about them. I refuse to try to work things out with them. I let them go. And now I just observe and I release them unto that which they are. And I now thrust that onto the Christ or the higher source, which is within me, and I now surrender to that. And I forgive myself for feeling less than. I forgive myself for any error in judgment that I had in my knowledge of people. I hitherto understand also that there was a lack of education on people in my educational system, that the educational system itself has a huge gap in terms of educating about personality types, psychology, things of this nature. And hitherto, because of my lack of knowledge or lack of knowing about this type of person, that I fell into a trap, I fell into a rut. I'm now stepping out of that with greater wisdom and knowledge, and I'm now embracing myself and my wholeness and integrity and all my being. And I'm moving forward from here forward and focusing on my vision of my future that I see for myself, desire for myself, and I want it bad enough to work hard for it. and keep it in front of me. And I write, you write down your goals. Write down your goals that you have for yourself. Work on your recovery journal. Write down what you want to have. Write down who you want to become. Write down a description of the people that you want to be around. Write down a description of the places you want to go, how you want to feel, what you want to have, what you want to be engaged in. I want to walk around the Hudson River with a cappuccino in June, and I want to hear the birds singing, and I want to feel the wind blowing, and I want to be able to go to the Metropolitan and engage in a beautiful art exhibit. And then I'm going to go to dinner, and I'm going to have sushi, or I'm going to have roast beef, or I'm going to have filet mignon. I mean, start getting a very clear-cut vision of what you want to do and have for your future. Whether it's like, okay, I'm going to take in some movies, I'm going to take in some comedy, I'm going to take in, a new hobby, a new project. I'm going to pick up sewing, I'm going to pick up knitting, I'm going to pick up painting. I'm going to pick up, inventing. I'm going to work on new product development. All these different things. I am. You really need to embrace the I am with a vision for yourself. And your vision is going to overpower the toxic treatment which you had been inundated with. You are now, once you can release that and let that go, you're giving yourself permission and liberty to live your life. And focus on all that you want to do, be, and have moving forward. And give yourself a recovery gift. I recommend this once a week, to go out on a recovery date and use it as a sense to go someplace new and empower yourself. Someplace where you can expand your horizons, as they say, expand your boundaries. Whether it's an area of interest, a shop of interest, a museum, a movie, any sort of organization, horseback riding. Maybe you want to go fishing. Maybe you want to go sculpting. You want to take a pottery class. You want to take a meditation class. You want to take a class in Reiki. You want to take a class in psychology. You want to find all sorts of different organizations that are out there that are going to embrace you and your desire. There are people and places just waiting for you to enter in. And you can now expand in your life once you give yourself permission. So once you end something, the end of something is the opportunity for something new to begin. So I really want you to embrace that new beginning for yourself and commit to yourself that you're no longer going to engage in that scapegoating. You're no longer going to be a carrier for someone else's shame. You're no longer going to be a carrier for someone else's negativity, hostility, anger, anguish, frustration, and belittlement and need for power. You're signing off. You are hitherto signing off from the role. Here's the pink slip. Been nice to know you. Good luck. You're going to have to meet someone else to fulfill that role, and you move on with your life, and you're now signing up for a new empowered life. You're now taking on a new role, a new identity, and a new skill set, which comes with the empowerment. It comes with the affirmations. It comes with the meditation. It comes with reading the good books. It comes with surrounding yourself with the people who remind you of who you are and the wonderful strength-based person that you are, and reflect those strengths back to you on a daily basis. Seek that out and you will find it. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope that these videos, that they do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.